Let's break down My Dirty Diary 2 and the story of Damon, an album filled with heartbreak, love, and a toxic relationship. The album is told through the alter ego of Damon. It opens up with 2 strong tracks introducing the love interest of Damon. Both tracks focus heavily on how he is bettering himself for this person and putting his past behind him. The first track, Pain, represents these themes heavily. Bug Bites is the first time we hear about how Damon feels about this person.
I miss her voice, she been stuck in my head, nah.
Track 3 hits us with a quick reality check where we're put in the mind of Damon and how he feels during this time. The constant voicemails serve as a great representation of Damon's anxiety. We're also given a name to his now love interest, Emily. It ends with a message from her.
I know that you will never, ever hear this because you're too busy running around destroying yourself.
The next couple of tracks shows us how Damon struggles with acceptance and love from his peers and his own mother. Attention Please goes on about the things Damon does just for eyes to be on him.
I'm addicted to attention, these pills will let me get it.
Hood Melodies goes in depth about how Damon struggles to trust the people around him and how he has to do his stuff on his own. And Thick Skin goes in depth about how he struggles with acceptance from his mother.
How you say that you can hate me, I'm your fucking kid.
All these tracks are directly towards Emily and him venting about his own problems. We then get to hear how Emily feels about this in the Damon interlude. Emily states that she's stressed and doesn't have the patience for it at the moment. And although she feels guilty, she wants to focus on herself.
I don't think you understand how much, stress I am under.
Asthma is a direct response to this. Damon begins to feel toyed with by Emily, and that her love is inconsistent.
I'm addicted to my heart today, then fade away.
The next 4 songs are part of the Dot Wave series, the file name standing for a raw emotion and the first bit of insight we get into their actual relationship. Stay With Me focuses on Damon's obsession with this person, and although they're hurting him, he needs them to stay.
You're hurting me, but can you please just stay with me?
Five Guys is the turning point in the response to Stay With Me. This is when Damon realizes that he doesn't need this person in his life and he can do stuff on his own.
Damon, switched up, no lie.
It complements the next track, My Fault interlude, perfectly. We see Damon finally stand up for himself and gain the confidence to confront Emily about her cheating and disrespect towards him. And when she's confronted about it, she plays the victim to Damon, eventually running him off. And then get to see Damon reflect on his actions and begin to regret them as he blames himself.
Sorry for the problems that I caused and what they do, yeah.
Main Switch is a moment where Damon gets to question himself and the relationship as a whole. He then begins to confront what she did. Out My Head is a backtrack of the entire relationship, with one line sticking out perfectly as a double-edged sword.
I see you in my dreams and baby, I cannot stop thinking about you.
This line in the chorus is repeated and is shown as a double-edged sword from a love track to a heartbreak track. Don't Care is Damon's final moment of actually answering these questions he's had. Chorus spends time asking these questions to Emily herself, while the rest of the song is him confronting it and answering it himself. We finally get to see Damon start to accept the relationship and that it's over in memories.
I don't love our legacy, I got to live long.
He now knows that he has to move on and it's for his own sake. Damon finally begins to leave all this behind for himself in the next track, Goodbye. He brings up that he knew about all these games she was playing with him from the start and he just decided to overlook it because he was focused more on his own heart. This track, Goodbye, would be a great send-off to end the toxic relationship story. But it doesn't end there. What I consider to be the most important track and the very last one is Blank Canvas. This is the moment we see Damon relapse as a whole. He admits that the last couple of tracks were just him coping and he wasn't actually moving on.
So I guess memories a lie, no cake and never just said a shit.
He makes it clear that he's contradicting all of his lies, meaning the previous tracks, and that none of them were actually anything to him. And he sends out one final message to Emily with the gut-wrenching chorus.
Got me begging here, baby, come back, baby.
This relapse is completely directed at Emily as he's begging her to come back. Now remember the name, Blank Canvas. What do you do on a canvas? Paint. The whole album is just a toxic love loop from the start. This whole album doesn't have a start or an end because it gets thrown right in the middle of it. We're not told Damon's initial feelings. I highly recommend that you give this one a listen. I put a lot of time and effort into it and I would love if you checked it out and broke down more of the story for yourself.